What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Lake Julian Disc Golf Course for another fairway video, and this it's a little interesting. It's a little breezy out today, so this might show us some interesting things. We are talking about the Pyro as a fairway driver again, and while it definitely goes farther than the new Helio Vela, the super flat one, because it just kind of dumps fast, I don't think that the Pyro goes as far as a little bit straighter fairway driver. So to test against the Pyro, we have the Skywalker 2, the Spooky Series edition. This is a Horizon Sea Line FD1, and we have this milky white, opaque white Sea Line FD1. So we're going to test both of these out against the Pyro and see if there's a possibility that I do actually need a fairway driver in this stability. We're going to start with the Fission Pyro and go ahead and throw that on the big backhand turnover. And the main issue that I'm having with the Pyro is it goes way further than most mid-rangers, and it gets fairway distance, but only if I throw it on anhyzer. If I throw it flat or hyzered, it just doesn't get the fairway distance. So we're going to throw a couple of flex shots today, but we're also going to be focusing on throwing them on hyzer and which one actually goes further on hyzer. Unfortunately, this isn't the fairway for that. Let's start off with a flex. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now the Skywalker 2, the Horizon Sea Line. Oh yeah, this is Horizon Color Glow Sea Line. A lot of things. That's what I figured. That's what I expected would happen. About the same stability as the Pyro, but we are seeing the 7-speed rim actually come into play on those two throws. And Pyro is great, but it's still a mid-range. 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. We're gonna go ahead and throw the forehand here on 15 and see if there's any difference. I'm not sure, because they were all slightly different angles, which one is more stable. We're gonna find out when we go to throw them on hyzer. Perfect. A little bit past the other one. So it's going to be Color Glow, Horizon, then the Pyro, and then the Sea Line. Up here on 16, we're basically going to go flat to hyzer. Going to push them at that big pine tree in the background. Try to throw as straight a shot at that as we can, and then we'll see how soon they start to fade off of that line. The early lead is going to Skywalker 2. These are both at 3. Skywalker 2 is at 6. Easy lead right now. See what it can do with a little bit of tailwind. That's pretty good. Pretty good. That stayed so straight at the tree. Now it is the time for the Pyro. Can we get it to go flat? I pulled it just a little bit so it wasn't right at the tree, it was right at the other tree, and then it faded and skipped. Pretty good. Now for the milky white. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna, when we get to the next tee pad, we're gonna look at the dome on the Skywalker 2 and the white FD1. I thought they felt similar, but Skywalker 2 is showing more glide. So it's possible that it's the Color Glow Horizon plastic that's doing it. It's possible that it's the Specialty Run that's doing it. And it's possible that that disc just might have more dome that's equaling more glide. Let's go look at it on the tee pad and we might be able to make some more conclusions. So the flight numbers are 7402 on the two FD1s and 5402.5 on the Pyro. But here's what we're looking at. The white FD1 versus, there is, it's noticeable. There's a noticeable more amount of dome off of this disc than there is on this disc, which is why this one is showing out and this one is just kind of equaling the Pyro. The Pyro was about 4 feet past it on the last throw. So Pyro still has its place in the dead center between these two FD1s, showing that maybe a Pyro really is a mid-range. Isn't really a mid-range, it's really kind of a fairway driver. All of that aside, we're going to throw this drive on hyzer and watch if they flip up, watch when they stable out. We're going to watch the flight. It's a bit of a tail crosswind. We're going with the Skywalker 2 first, and this is going to be how far can I throw it off of a hyzer release. Not a flex shot, a hyzer release. That's really good. That's almost Thunderbird distance. That's almost a 9-speed. Now, no, it's Pyro next. Now, Pyro is probably not going to flip up to flat. That FD1 flipped up to flat, which is why I think the FD1 is going to go a little bit further than this will off of a hyzer throw. Not an ounce of flip. Stayed exactly on the line I threw it on, which is fabulous. But sometimes I don't want it to go left. I want it to go straight and then hook, which is why I think fairway driver might actually still be in the cards for me. Same throw, hyzer release. Let's see what we get with the stock C line. Gonna go have to look at the distance of those, and we are coming back to 18 in just a second. I'm gonna go pick those up. We're gonna go throw 20, then come back and throw the flex shot on 18 and see distance on that. But the Skywalker 2 is a straighter FD1 than a stock C-line FD1, unless maybe it's possible if you found a slightly domier C-line FD1, it might fly similar to that Skywalker 2, but I think it's the dome that's giving it a touch less torque resistance. So even though it's still as stable and it stables out at the same angle of fade, which means that they have the same fade, but it's a little bit less torque resistant, so it's and a little bit more glidey. So you're going to get more push and more play. And if you can get it going super straight, you're just gonna get more distance. Interesting how all that plays out. Here on 20, we're gonna test the fairway driving of the fairway drivers. Whatever is the straightest shot for that disc, I'm gonna try to throw that shot. And how far do they go while still staying in the fairway? Skywalker 2, at this point, nothing else can even hope to catch the Skywalker 2. So Skywalker 2 is going to win out, which means Skywalker 2 is going in the bag. Question is, am I still going to keep the Fission Pyro in the bag as well? Got some things to think about while I throw these drives. Hold it just a little bit, not what we want. So it might not take first this time. Good shot. Now for the white FD1. I think this has more of the same glide and stability of the Pyro, but when you get it on more of a fairway drifty shot, it's gonna go further because the wing is sharper. But otherwise, flies pretty similar to the Pyro. Yeah. Funny how the mid-range stayed in the fairway and the two fairway drivers are not in the fairway. I'm really good at throwing mid-ranges and just not quite there with driver rims. I'm getting better. But most courses around here, at the power and the speed and the distance I'm getting now, I can throw almost every course around here with just a putter. So I have to kind of go out and explore and try to find open places to throw these driver shots. And sometimes they work out and sometimes they just don't. So the Skywalker 2 is going to win this battle. The Pyro is going to be second, and the C-Line FD1 is going to be third. However, this FD1 is flying further than the Velas and further than my Eagles, so it's very possible that this one could also see an addition as an add-on to the bag, because while it gets about the same distance as this Pyro, I have to be extremely precise with the release angles on the Pyro to get it to go that far. Whereas with the fairway driver, it's supposed to kind of go that far. So, tailwind, big flex, Pyro is up first, and then we're going into the FD1s. And this took the first slot on every single throw, except for that one, which was not intentional, but what that gives us is now we get to throw the disc that's going into the bag as our final throw. So, kind of works out. Let's go big flex. How far can we get these discs to go? Oh, that wind is so pushy. Okay, that's in the bush down there, which is kind of the traditional gathering point for a lot of just not quite there distance throws. So, yes, it was, could have been better. Could have been better. And that was just thrown on hyzer. But that's almost to the same spot. Why did I throw that on hyzer? We may never know. Now the Skywalker 2, the disc that as soon as I get back to my car, I'm just sticking it right back into the bag. I think I'm still going to leave the Pyro in there as well, because the Pyro it's an in-between disc, and if I'm just not throwing my fairway drivers very well, I can always come back to, well, it's a mid-range. Let's just spin it really hard. the bush that the Pyro ended up fading into, that Skywalker 2 hit the tree 20 feet above it. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Skywalker 2 goes further than a normal FD1 and further than a Fission Pyro. Anyways, hopefully you enjoy content like this. If you want to see more stuff, make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, if you have discs you want to see me compare against the FD1 or the Fission Pyro, make sure to comment those down below. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber-only giveaways and definitely helps me out as well. And until next time, see you out on the course.